Hello, welcome everyone. Today we are going to explore the software development models. Understanding these models is crucial for choosing the right approach to ensure the success of our projects. So let's dive into two of the most important recognized models and discuss their unique characteristics, advantages and limitations. Firstly, the waterfall model. It is a classic software development approach that follows a sequential progression through distinct phases, like the water falling downwards steadily through various several phases. This methodology ensures a systematic workflow, making it ideal for projects with well-defined requirements and minimal scope changes. This is the traditional project management approach. Now let's see the phases of waterfall model. Firstly, the requirements gathering. In this phase, we gather all the data required for the software development. The next is design part. From all the data collected from the requirements gathering phase, we put together into a systematic approach where we can easily note down what and what we want to do it. So this is like a blueprint. Next is the implementation phase. Here, the coding and software development part takes place. Next is the testing phase. This ensures quality and functionality of each and every component of the software development what we are using and the coding part testing. Next is the deployment phase. Here, the whatever the software is developed, that will be released to the users. Next is the maintenance phase, ongoing support and updates. This means that after releasing the software to the users, any issues related to the software by the users are maintained in this phase. Next is the advantages of the waterfall model. It gives the clear structure. In waterfall model, we see the well-defined phases are there like requirements, design part, implementation part, testing part, and lastly the management. Next is it provides the documentation for each and every step. The next advantage is the easy to manage. By following this waterfall model, we can easily manage the software developed model. Next is the disadvantages of the waterfall model. The waterfall model's rigid structure and lack of flexibility can lead to several key disadvantages. So let's see the what are the key disadvantages of this rigid structure of the waterfall model. Firstly, limited flexibility. It's difficult to adapt to changes in requirements or priorities during the development process. Next is the delayed feedback. Issues are often identified late in the process, leading to longer resolution time. This is because when issues are occurring in this phase, in this waterfall model, it takes longer time for the resolution. Risk of delays. The sequential nature of the model increases the risk of project overruns and missed deadlines. As from the waterfall model, each phase, after completing the each phase only, we can go to the next phase. So because of this, the risk of delays will be chances of more. Now let's see the another model, that is the incremental model. It is the software development approach that divides the project into smaller manageable phases. Instead of single monolithic release, the software is developed in or delivered in increments, allowing for regular feedbacks and continuous improvement. Now let's see the phases of the incremental model. The first phase is initial requirements. It defines the core functionalities, like it defines what are the data collection is needed for the software development. Next phase is the development of increments, that is develop and test in small steps. Next third is the third phase is deployment and feedback. Release and gather user feedback on releasing the small portion of the software project, we release it and gather the user feedback and improve according to it. Next is the fourth phase is iteration and refinement. It refines and enhances based on the feedback. And next is the advantages of the incremental model. Firstly, it is flexible, adaptable to changing requirements. So in this incremental model, if there is changes required in the requirement stage, that is requirement phase, then it can be changed easily. Next is early feedback. Due to the release of the software development project in incremental type, so it is easier to identify the issues early in the process. Next is reduced risk. Lower risk of project failures are there in this incremental model, as in the small chunks the project is released and feedback is collected. Through that feedback we can early detect the what is the issue and we can solve it easily, so there is lower risk of project failure. Now let's see the disadvantages of the incremental model. Complex management. As the multiple iterations are followed in the incremental model, to manage this it is a complex task. Integration challenges. Ensuring seamless integration between increments. After releasing each part of the software and to gather it together, it is a challenging task. Difficult to define scope. Clearly defining scope of each incremental developed software is very difficult. Now in the conclusion, we compare these two models. In waterfall model, it is the structured and documented, but it is inflexible and we get the delayed feedback. Whereas in incremental model, it is flexible and early feedback. That is what the disadvantages we get from the waterfall model. Here it is removed. And but the disadvantage of incremental model is here there is a complex management and integration challenges there. So this was all about the waterfall model and the incremental model, its advantages and disadvantages. Thank you.